My name is Joe Wallace. I am one of the founding art partners here at Dim Art House. And this is a video to explain a show within a show. This is an installation art project called The Room That Became a Zine. And I'm walking backwards here into the room. By way of explanation, The Room That Became a Zine is basically an art installation featuring work inspired by and printed in zines. This is all my work. This is all things that I've been doing since about 2017 and beyond, straight through the pandemic and lockdown and our subsequent election recovery and et cetera, et cetera. And I know the first question people are asking about an installation called The Room That Became a Zine is, well, what is a zine? Let's talk about that a little bit. For a start, zine is short for magazine. It is pronounced in the same way. A lot of people say zine because they don't get that zine is an abbreviation of magazine. And zines can be everything from these crude Xeroxed or inkjet printed small publications to things that look slightly more well thought out and a bit better designed, all the way up to things that appear to be more slick and glossy, like something presented in a magazine format, like things I wrote while drinking. So I've been through the gamut, the crude and the thoughtful and the more slick and polished, etc., etc. These are all zines, and basically the heart and soul of a zine is something that's done independently. It doesn't have any corporate backing. These are sometimes one-person projects. Other times these publications can have a whole informal staff of people. Nobody makes any money off this. In general, all the cash that is generated by selling these things and distributing them is put right back into making more, and that's kind of the way I like it. There are photo zines, there are mental health zines, there are personal zines, there are zines exclusively about bands and music, and a lot of this is old hat to people watching who have been, involved in these sort of counterculture things over time. But some people, especially people who are just starting out in the creative arts, they don't know that these things exist, and this is kind of a new world for some people. And that's the most awesome thing, is discovering zines and self-publishing and indie publishing and putting yourself out there. It's an awesome journey, and it's a journey that anybody who's even slightly tempted to give this sort of thing a try, you should definitely take this, because self-publishing is one of the real immediate ways to express yourself. When you start out with the visual arts, there are things you have to learn. You either have to learn technique or you have to learn equipment with photography and lighting techniques and things like that. But with zines, there are no rules. It is as technically awesome or as technically crude as you want it to be, and there really is no bar, which is why it's so appealing. But the fact that there's no bar doesn't mean that all zines are good or well written or well realized. I mean, some of my earliest work is so cringeworthy, I never plan on showing it to anyone now that it's safely lost to the sands of time. And everybody who makes these things feels that way about some of their work, but the act of creating these things is a hugely important part of it for some people like me. Other people, it's the end product that really, really motivates them to do it. But for me, all of these things were written in either public places or where things were happening or around other people. This was not a case of the artist, in locked away in a studio somewhere in a garret, going, you're contemplating the navel and life, the universe, and everything. No, this is all very dependent on being around other people and interacting with people, or more appropriately and more accurately, eavesdropping and the voyeuristic element. So that is a huge part of my own personal work. So as weird as that may sound, that's what informs what I do. And for some people, that's not at all what they're interested in. They're more interested in whatever it is, music or relating their struggle or relating their triumphs. In some cases, trying to promote their own creative work is a huge thing for some people making zines, because it's the only way some of this stuff gets seen is to be Xeroxed or printed and distributed, and have random and sometimes not so random people picking up your work and taking a look at it. Zines are everywhere. Mostly, you'll find them in record stores, you'll find them in independent bookshops, you can search for them on the web. If you go on Twitter and Instagram and even YouTube, you will find information about zines and self-publishing and how to do it and how other people have done it. People giving their advice and sharing their stories and experiences. And it is a very interesting, informally affiliated sort of ecosystem. There are Zine Conventions. There's one in Chicago every year when there's not a global pandemic. And it's a very rich and diverse group of publications, all being done on a shoestring, all being done for no money, or what little money that is generated is again folded right back into the work. And for me personally, that's just the way I like it. That is a bit of a conflict for a quote-unquote starving artist. However, it is what it is. The room that became a zine. If you've never picked up a zine, here is a great chance for you to get to know the culture a little bit, and maybe this will inspire you to make your own, which is my hope. Thanks for watching this, and thank you for your interest. The Room That Became a Zine is definitely an idea that wants to travel, so I'm looking for other opportunities to present this. I have plans to do a show here at Dim Art House at some point called The House That Became a Zine. Bit more ambitious and larger and crazier, but it's going to take time to assemble all that. But stay tuned, because I am putting together a zine show for Dim Art House, and there will be information on that later on in the spring and early summer. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for your interest. And if you've never picked up a zine before, please, by all means, look into it.